The lawyers are raping and pillaging this country to the best of their abilities because they got the law degrees to do it. And we've allowed it. They rose the legal fees today because they say they haven't rose the legal fees in a couple of years. And so they went up astronomically. And so, criminal or not, because remember, you're innocent until proven guilty. If you need a lawyer, you will pay. So, VAT gone up. Certain fees gone up. Legal fees have now gone up. Everything is going up. And lawyers are making lots and lots of monies. But what it also does is it limits the ability of the poor to be able to purchase a defense, purchase representation, because where you can find $2,200. It also facilitates for persons to run criminal enterprises because they need to find this money. And so if they need to find this money to pay a lawyer to keep them out of jail, say for robbery or attempted murder or whatever, they can go and commit crimes because they charge, a lot of them can't even get no jobs. And they ain't gonna find no jobs, so we can give them sufficient money to be paying no lawyer $2,200 a day. But the money gotta come from somewhere. To the point where we have homes and families that have lost everything fighting to pay lawyers. But governments have a duty of care. I'll tell you a story. When I was working on the force, several young men were arrested for a criminal incident. Underage young men. They were subsequently sent to the Simpson Penn School for boys. One of those young men was severely sexually assaulted. Severely. He wound up in the hospital, I'm told, as a result of that sexual assault. My question is, why isn't the government being sued for that? Because once the government takes that child into custody, then the government takes responsibility for that child, and they have a duty of care obligation to that child. Once the government takes a man or woman into custody, whether it's in law enforcement, whether it's under whether it's whatever circumstances, whether it's they take them into custody, whether it's a child situation case, social services. Once the government or a government agent takes responsibility for that individual, whether it's the police, prison officers, customs officers, immigration officers, they have a duty of care, responsibility to the person that they took into custody. They have an obligation to care for them. They have an obligation to ensure that that individual remains safe. And when they don't meet their obligations and that person is injured or suffers some serious harm, the government can be sued. Don't tell you this. They can be sued because they had an obligation. Now here's where the challenge comes in, because we have judges and legal scholars and persons in this country who are so busy so content living off the hog that they are not prepared to ensure that the government faces their obligations and faces consequences for their failures in these situations. And that's why certain things are allowed to continue to fester.